Chief job description.
Columbia Township Fire Department Standard Operation Guidelines. Job description, fire chief. Purpose, to establish guidelines for the position of fire chief. Policy, the fire chief position is as described herein. Nature of work. This is a highly responsible supervisory and administrative position that involves planning, organizing, and directing all activities of the fire department. Work involves responsibility for the administration and coordination of all fire department activities, establishment of departmental policies, procedures, and regulations, including those pertaining to firefighting and fire prevention operating standards within the limitation of laws, regulations, and policies from higher authority. Work is performed under the administrative direction of the Township Supervisor Manager and is reviewed primarily in the Board's interest of ensuring fire safety and fire prevention for the Township. Physical examples of work. Plan and supervise the operation of the fire department, coordinating all functions and activities. Develop long-term plans for improving and maintaining effective operations. Recommend policies to maintain effective controls for enforcing laws and ordinances and to promote and ensure better public safety from fire. Issue orders to subordinate officers and paid on call for execution. Supervise the assignment of personnel, equipment, and the requisitioning of materials, supplies, and equipment. Prepare correspondence, records, and reports. Supervise the maintenance, repair, and replacement of firefighting equipment and property of the fire department. Direct programs on fire prevention, including inspection, investigation, and the enforcement of federal, state, and local laws. Respond to fire alarms, take command, and direct operations at the scenes of fire. Make appearances before citizens groups to explain policies and activities of the department and other matters of public concern. Direct investigations into the causes of fire. Perform related work as required. Attend educational seminars. Desirable qualifications for employment. Thorough knowledge of modern firefighting methods and techniques and ability to apply this value to various fire control and fire prevention problems. Thorough knowledge of the use and operation of a wide variety of firefighting equipment and apparatus. Ability to plan, assign, and coordinate the work of a group of employees engaged in fire prevention and fire control activities. Considerable knowledge of municipal fire administration. Ability to maintain discipline, to lead and command employees effectively, and direct firefighters and equipment under emergency firefighting conditions. Initiative and resourcefulness in solving problems. Ability to work effectively with other township officials and the public. Training and experience. Graduation from an accredited high school. Considerable training in fire administration and modern firefighting techniques and practices. Extensive experience in firefighting work of a progressively responsible nature. Michigan Firefighters Training Council Firefighter 1 and 2 certified. Michigan Firefighters Training Council Hazmat Awareness. Michigan Firefighters Training Council Hazmat Operations. Current CPR card and AED certification. Valid Michigan driver's license. Completion of FFTC driver's course. I make a motion that we approve this job description. I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. George? Aye. Fourth one? Oh, yeah. The fire chief interview results. Sorry about that. We know the mic works now.
Okay, the interview committee interviewed 12 different applicants, and the chairperson sent a letter with the committee's recommendation for 4 chiefs. And this is a letter. At the request of Columbia Township, a group of fire service professionals from southwestern Michigan convened an oral interview for the position of Columbia Township Fire Chief on Saturday, November 6, 2010. As committee chair, I am providing a letter to transmit committee's findings. The evaluation criterion used was found in a fire chief job description dated 11/21/06. A series of 21 questions were predetermined and posed to each candidate in a standardized fashion. Each committee member scored the candidate's responses independently. A discussion was held to reach a consensus of each candidate's status. The following list of 4 applicants was identified as a pool of qualified candidates for this important position in Columbia Township. This list is in no particular order. All other applicants were rejected. Mr. John Smith, Schoolcraft, Mr. Brett Hosier, Grand Junction, Mr. Dave Johnson, Grand Junction, Mr. Albert Parrish, South Haven. In closing, the committee would like to thank you for the opportunity to serve your administration and to work on behalf of Columbia Township citizens. We recognize that the position of local fire chief is a focal point in our communities, and thus we appreciate the importance of finding a professional who will be a good fit with your community and department. We wish the very best for Columbia. This concludes the business of this committee. What I would like to do is I would like to make a motion that the Township Board hold another interview with the 4 applicants where we will ask them additional questions.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor? George?
Yes.
Aye.
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 Danielle? Rosemary?
Yes.
Can we also authorize for Mary to send a letter to the other applicants that weren't chosen?
Okay.
To let them know.
How do you do that?
Mary, also, I believe a letter should go to the chiefs that were here too, thanking them for their time.
Correct. Yep.
All right. And boy, Sam? Push for appointment.
Does somebody want to talk about that?
Dave?
You want me to get the map and show them?
Or you can just explain it?
Just explain it.
What we've got on one of our trucks, we carry voice amplifiers that we can hook to our mast that amplify our voices from within the mast, because if you don't have the amplifier, your voice is really muffled. You can't hear over the noise of tools and trucks, and just the confinement of the mast muffles your voice to the point where if there's a safety issue and you have to get someone moving quickly, they can't hear it. The amplifier, I can put the mask on, turn the amp on, and you can hear me just as clearly as you can hear me right now. Over the trucks and everything else, because they amplify that and clean it up so it's not muffled. And it comes down to a life and safety issue in a couple fires we've had. Before we got them, we had a couple firefighters that could have potentially been hurt if someone wasn't watching them closely, because they couldn't hear me screaming at Jeremy to get off the roof. I had to run up and grab him. With the voice amp, he could have heard me. We since have got 5 of them, and we carried them on our truck, one of our trucks, excuse me, and we all have the hookup so we can grab them. But we're requesting a few more so that some of our firefighters that show up on a regular basis have them and don't have to remember to grab them when we're trying to get other things going to do fire attacks.
Thank you, Dave.
All right, I'll make a motion that we purchase 5 voice amps not to exceed $1,625.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Fire Department, gear ramp?
Does somebody want to talk about the gear ramp?
Dave? All right.
Currently, we have nothing to hang our gear on. We all carry it with us, and we've had issues in the past where if it doesn't get dried properly and it gets pushed back down over our boots is how we leave it so we can just jump back into it. The bottoms of the pants tend to rot off. They get wet and mildew and rot, and the gear is rather expensive. A full set of just a coat of pants is about $1,600. So with the racks, if we could leave them opened up and hanging, they have a better chance to dry. It'll lengthen the life of the gear. We won't have the problem with it rotting off on the bottom, and it'll just promote. You won't get mildewed or molded, and it won't stay in better shape.
Thank you, Dave.
I'll make a motion that we purchase gear racks
All in
for
favor?
not to exceed $5,663.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 sexual harassment policy.
I don't think I'm gonna read this, it's 3 pages long. So the board has been presented with a Columbia Township sexual harassment policy. There is one change that is going to be made to what the board has, and that's on the second page, under the steps of the complaint procedure, number 1, the last sentence, I will read it. It says, if the immediate supervisor or department head was a participant in or condoned the alleged harassment without correcting the situation, or the harassment continues, the employee may elect to bypass the immediate supervisor or department head and may submit the written complaint directly to the township supervisor. Now, what is going to be changed is we're going to add or clerk or treasurer. I make a motion that we approve the sexual harassment policy with that change.
I'll second that.
Roll call, George?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Yes. Daniel?
Yes.
Rosemary?
Yes.
Let's go for the shed and hall.
The shed that we have just outside here does not have an electric in it, and it's really hard, especially this time of year when it gets dark early. So we had an estimate for putting lights and outlets there, plus adding some additional outlets along the wall here. So there's going to be a total of 4 new circuits. And I make a motion that we approve that not to exceed $700.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Private roof at number 1.
Fire department, the one that's in Grand Junction here, if you look at the, I think it's the original roof that was put on there, it's a metal roof. Got my papers mixed up. And, he received 2 bids for going over the metal and putting a shingle roof on it. One was for $10,649. The other one was for $10,000. I make a motion that we approve the one for $10,000, not to exceed $10,000.
Second it.
Mary, both those bids pay a full metal off though, right?
I recall them. I'm talking about it.
Chuck Moore told me that you can't put the OSB over the snow. I was thinking about it. And I thought I made sure that every one of them would do that. And not the OSB over there, that's what makes the front go on the different system.
Okay, one of them did say, gave an option for going over it or tearing it off, but the other one didn't.
Yeah, it says the other one makes the front system.
Okay, the one that you said was $10,000, that's remove steel roofing from building and install half inch OSB over roof surface,
Yeah.
right?
No. I didn't know that Chuck Moore said that.
That's what makes the front so me, that's why I put so many different
See that,
things.
so right in here.
Weight load.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
That no old moisture will run out of the OSB in 2 years.
Okay, let me reword this then, because I got tried both ways. I make a motion that we approve not to exceed $11,500. There is 2 bids, one was $11,500, the other one is $12,723. That's with removing the metal. So I'll make a motion not to exceed $11,500, and that is removing the metal.
Okay.
and then we'll check on that.
Whose bid was that, Dave?
That is late,
Lakefront Roofing and Exteriors.
and then we'll check on that with Chuck Moore and
You make a motion, huh?
check on the motion.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye.
George, the other one is Van Beck Roofing. You should have it right in your pile.
Or do you need to include the inflation in that motion?
No, I'm gonna do that next. Okay, and also to go along with that roof, there is an estimate for insulation, because there is no insulation in it. So I make a motion that we approve $3,300 for insulation in the roof, not to exceed $1,300.
All in favor? Aye.
That's a total of how much now?
The 11,500 and 3,300.
14.
George?
Yes.
Fire department, roof, number 2.
During the windstorm that we had here a couple weeks ago, some of the ridge got blown off of fire department too. So we've got some quotes for replacing it, and also there's a piece of fascia. One of them was for $1,275, and the other one was $250. I make a motion that we approve the amount for $250.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The hall stove, first stove?
The stove in the kitchen there gets used quite a bit, especially with Marie having all of these dinners at night, and the oven has quit working. And we have gotten quotes, and so I make a motion that we purchase a new stove not to exceed $800.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye.
Next month, and we should, I also talked to, Dave when he was in here today to find out the best way to put an exhaust fan in that kitchen too. Either a fan or going through the wall, because when they're back there cooking, it's so hot, you know, so we'll have a price on that next month.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, public comments?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, just a minute.
So, can you name it? I'm just going to review the rules again. We need everyone to address the board with your public comments. Everyone gets 3 minutes. It's not a question and answer time. If you have questions, please follow up in the office or give us a call. Please give us your name. I'm going to ask you to use the microphone, please. And again, just be respectful of the person speaking and let them have their 3 minutes.
My name is Harold Johnson. I live at 50.
You got to address the board.
Okay. My name is Harold Johnson. I live at 50521 8th Avenue. What I'd like to talk to you about tonight is, you know, that over a period of time I've been displeased that my wood burner was put on my tax roll as soon as it was installed, November 30th, 06. At that time, I discovered at least 5 wood burners that were not being assessed. I drove a little drive this last week and I found 2 more that are not being assessed. And one of them has been there longer than mine. It's never been assessed, apparently, because I've got cars paid for them down here. But I do have a question for you. I just recently had a tribunal hearing, and it was based on 4 lots that are normally about 50% underwater, certainly 25% all the time. Well, anyway, at a tribunal hearing, we got there, and Mr. Thibodeau decided I shouldn't have a hearing at all, because I had sent in paperwork based on the fact that I was going to have a hearing on my home. I called the tribunal and I said, what's this hearing about? They said, well, it's residential. So I said, okay, that's fine, I'll prepare for residential. We got there and it was with lots. But Thibodeau not only wanted me to pay $75, but he also wanted to cancel the hearing. The tribunal judge says, no, he filed paper in March of '09. And I got the date, I got a copy of it, so we're going to have the hearing. But that's not a very good attitude from your assessor. I can also tell you about a case of Bill White. He lives on the other side of the tracks on 8th Avenue. Bill White has quite severe health problems, much like mustard or dystrophy. At any rate, he could not make his board review hearing here. And when he called to get another one, he was told he'd be given a second chance at a hearing. Well, it never happened, so finally he wrote to the tribunal after the supervisor told him he could only hold board review hearings 2 days per year. Well, we all know that's a crock. That's probably state law. You have to hold it a minimum of 2 years. I've seen board review hearings stretched out for 3 weeks, and they don't close the board review until the final thing is answered. So at any rate, he wound up messing around and all summer long. Even the assessor at that time wrote the tribunal hearing. He said, well, he didn't show, he didn't do this, he didn't do that. I think he should be denied, in my opinion. That's not his opinion to make. This is a contracted individual. And yet he's got the power to take an attorney with him to the tribunal. It doesn't make sense. Where are you folks coming from? I can tell you where these two woodburgers are down the street. They're on 215, they're outside of Breedsville. And I would tell you about Bill White. Finally, the tribunal ordered the township to settle his case with him. Bill White called me. He said, why are they...
I'll look into it.
All right.
You can give me the numbers on it too. That. I would like to know the address. I'll look into it.
Well, this is the case...
Now, that's it.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Please.
Hi, my name is Lee Abernathy. I live at 02360 in Manchester. I'd like to, first I want to say thank you to the board here. Since I moved here in 2004, everybody I've ever worked with in the board and the township has always been very helpful to me. At the same time, I want to speak into Mike here, at the same time, everybody I've ever talked to in the township has been very cordial and nice and easy to get along with. It makes me nuts to see all the contention that's in this township. It really does make me nuts. It makes me absolutely crazy to know that a nickel of my tax dollars is going to pay a lawyer anywhere. I got a suggestion for you, and I put it in the form there, and I'm going to read it so everybody else can hear it. This is a method to improve the township communication. Have a form in the office where any township citizen can come in and fill it out, submit it to the on-duty secretary. The form will have a problem, issue, idea, area that the submitter would like the board to address. The form would also have a place for suggested solutions from the suggestion. Keep a copy of the submitted forms available for the public to review. Have a place for them to vote in the township office. I mean, it's as simple as, 4 people came in and looked at it and said, I think you ought to address this one. And so that the board of trustees, the board here, knows which item has the most interest. And a week before the township meeting, have the board take the ideas or issues with the most interest. And you guys decide how you're going to address it at this meeting. If there's no response available for that week, if you can't do it in a week, somebody wants you to change the building or something like that, obviously the next available time you can come up with an answer to address the people in the township. I think in the beginning what you're going to do is you're going to get a lot of these, but over time they're going to go away. And what's going to happen is the people that are sitting out here on this side will feel like they've at least been heard, you've discussed what their issues are, and you've either resolved it or brought it to some reasonable conclusion. And you guys, it just makes me nuts to see the animosity that comes to what you guys can really do. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Any board comments?
There's a senior supper tomorrow night here at the Township Hall. Starts at 5 o'clock, and there's always good music, good food.
Thank you. The announcement, bingo, last Tuesday, 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. senior potluck, third Friday, 5 p.m. Family dinner, fourth Saturday, 5 p.m. Senior commodities, second Thursday, 10 to 11:30. Low income commodities varies 9 till noon. Planning Commission, Monday before Township meeting at 7. Township Board meeting the third Tuesday at 7 p.m. Neighborhood Watch the first Thursday at 7:30. Blood pressure, sugar, last Tuesday, 10 to 11. Free bread Tuesday from 10 to noon.
Before we go on to adjourn, the Family Night Out Dinner, Marie's offering 2 in the month of November and December for the holidays. So she actually has, between here and the one she helps with in Breesville, there's 3 free dinners in each month. And they're not necessarily on a Saturday, she's kind of working them around the holidays. So if you have any questions about that, it's on the calendar in the office, we can let you know the date.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to adjourn then?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
No, second.
Second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And happy Thanksgiving to everybody on the board.